It's the worst fucking podcast that you'll hear. It's not that respected when it's the collective as Christian would cheer. It's the worst fucking podcast that you'll hear. Collective Podcast.
All right. Welcome to Collective Podcast. We are taking it to the virtual world. We have Christian. It is season 3. It is episode 8. And it is a conundrum of fucking guests in this house right here in one virtual universe of Christian, Mike, Joe, John, and finally, Kenny. How the hell is everybody? Don't all speak at once.
Yay for
Pretty fucking hype.
Zoom.
Mandalorian, bro!
Luke
Is it over
Skywalker!
yet?
All right, whoa. I just want.
Spoilers!
I just want to let.
Jeez, I didn't watch yet. I didn't watch it.
I just want to let everybody
How
listening
dare
in.
you?
Just want to let everybody listening in that we're all on Zoom, so our audio is probably going to be interesting. this
Absolute
episode.
garbage.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I guess we'll go episode to episode, and then we'll all cream our pants with the last episode that just happened. But
That's why I'm leaving the chat.
so what? So we're all very excited about Mandalorian finishing. We're all happy. We're all upset that we're not going to get any more for a while.
A whole year.
Yeah. So what? So what was everybody's? I guess.
Reactions?
Yeah, reactions. I couldn't think of the word.
To the season as a whole, or
Yeah,
the first episode?
Season as a whole.
Well,
Well, it was
I
a
mean,
lot better
season one
than the first season.
Yeah, I was gonna say season 1 was great, but like this one floored season 1. Like season 2, like just took season 1 out for a walk and just said like, yeah, no, I'm here. It's all about me now.
Put all the cards
Just-
on the table.
Yeah.
In one word, epic.
So, besides the finale, who was another person that showed up in the season that you guys were happy and surprised? And don't all say Boba Fett.
Spoiler alert, Mike's baby's there.
Say something.
You know what? Actually, okay. I'm going to put out there real quick a name I thought I was never going to hear. Like, it's been talked about, like, here and there, but Thrawn.
Well-
Freaking Thrawn? Like, we may be seeing Thrawn. Like, oh my god.
Not
like,
maybe.
legit
Not
thought I was
maybe.
never going to see this before.
We got a
It's not
giant.
maybe though.
We got the name drop. We still didn't get the on-screen live appearance of him yet.
Yeah, but he's short of being like in an animated series. Like he's never even been uttered or like hinted at anywhere before, and this is the first time that we're seeing it. I think that should speak volumes more than anything right now.
Who you think is going to play him?
You know what? A friend of mine basically said like, hey, it's between either Fassbender or Cumberbatch, and honestly, I
Ooh.
don't nail it, but
I'd go after
I don't
Cumberbatch.
think
I saw that too.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll
he
go
plays
Fassbender.
everybody now. He's playing everybody now, so why
I
not?
didn't even.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of
Exactly, like,
Fassbender.
spread the love a little bit.
Well,
I can see Fassbender doing it though.
who voices him in Rebels?
Lars.
Lars
How the
Nicholson?
fuck do you say his last name?
Mickelson?
Yeah.
Wait, can we curse here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Oh,
you
thank
fucking
Christ.
can.
Okay, cool.
Jerry, cover
Oh,
your
fuck
ears.
you.
Well, I mentioned this in one of our chats that the the brother of the voice actor for Dawn would play the father and the creator of the Death Star in Rogue One. So
Yeah, that was Mads Mikkelsen.
yeah, and he was one of the villains in the Doctor Strange movie, ironically, with Cumberbatch in it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting if they
So,
squared up like that again.
For me, I was very when they said Boba Fett was gonna pop up, I was like, maybe it'll be a flashback. But then in the first episode, when Timothy Oliphant popped up, and he plays a character in one of the books that stole Boba Fett's armor. And I'm glad that they referenced that, and they actually did a flashback talking about how he stole the armor, because that kind of gives a little bit of like continuity to everything, which is I thought Star Wars needs some continuity, but
Just a little bit.
I
just a
felt
little
like
bit.
it was an inevitability though that Boba Fett was going to come into the series in some way, shape, or form. Like the whole like Mandalorian concept, it was like there had to be like some involvement by him at some point. Just given like he, I feel like he's like the character in Star Wars that has like a cult following in a sense.
yeah,
And, like he didn't have like a huge role, but like people fucking loved him anyway.
I mean, the old expanded universe really expanded on like him as being a badass, which is why his legend grew so much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He was definitely a
So,
badass in the season 2.
I'm
He was
gonna be
great.
the monkey wrench in gears over here. From before this season, everyone was pretty much like, "Oh, Boba Fett! Oh my god!" I'm the only guy who was ever always just like, "Okay, who cares?" Never
Like
gave a flying fuck about Boba Fett.
I will say, going back to Christian's original question, so like my most hyped person, I think, in this season ended up being Ahsoka rather than Boba Fett. I thought Boba Fett was gonna be pretty hyped, and he was, but like Ahsoka was like Rosario Dawson like just blew away with that role. She was amazing. And her makeup was so good.
Rosario Dawson.
Her makeup was so good. I thought she was CGI when she first showed up. Like when she was.
No, that was definitely her.
No, yeah, it was all makeup and stuff. But at that first glimpse, it almost looked like CGI. Like that's how good she looked in that first scene, like in the hood, like when she was fighting off.
Firstly, 1000% agree with you. But even then, like, I'm hearing talk from like other people that like, oh, it didn't look like her. Her eyes weren't slanted enough and everything. I'm like, give me a break. We got a live action.
I
thought she was perfect.
Joe knows
I agree.
Joe knows me being I wasn't really nitpicky, but I was like, it's interesting the fact that like a
little bit, Christian, a little bit.
Her tendrils were shorter than they were in Rebels, and I thought maybe it was just a logistical thing. Maybe the headpiece was a little too heavy.
That's what I read.
You can't fight live action with things hanging off your neck.
Yeah, no, I read that was the case.
And to piggyback off your answer, John, I was going to say the exact same thing. I was Boba Fett aside, Ahsoka Tano was the character I was most excited for to finally see it in live action and to see a fan casting actually come true, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Did they announce her previously?
She was good. She was really good.
Did they?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the announcements. We heard the crazy rumor after rumor, report after report, but Disney and Lucasfilm never confirmed it.
Correct.
All of them pretty much were right. They were right on and true, but it was confirmed without being confirmed. No one said a word.
Yeah, pretty much. So I guess everybody can agree like the second episode was like their least favorite. That was the one with the giant bugs.
Oh, those spiders. Anyone who's a fan of Rebels, those spiders are directly from an episode. That was probably a Dave Filoni call. But yeah, that was probably the weakest. I don't want to say the weakest, but not the most memorable episode of the season.
Agreed.
the Frog Lady episode. I'm like, this episode's a little like it was good.
That episode was well, that was the spider episode, right?
You know what though?
Kermit the Frog was in there.
I thought that was a little. I thought like the spider scenes were good. Like once they got to the cave, that episode was good. It was like the scenes with the frog lady with her eggs. I was like, it was kind of like a side quest episode, and she's not adding much to the show or anything like that. I mean, it was just funny watching Baby Yoda Grogu trying to eat the eggs. That was funny.
I think that's
committing genocide,
the whole
but
point of that entire episode, just Baby Yoda shenanigans. That's it.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, your breath smells fucking terrible. You want some gum?
As
Wow.
Jerry's talking to a Baby Yoda background.
I bet you, Kenny, you're right, because I felt like, I mean, obviously, you know, he had a much greater role, I think, in the latter half of the season, but I felt like he took more of a backseat in this season, right? Compared to season 1, I feel like Baby Yoda, like, not too much, but like he wasn't in the spotlight as much until maybe like the Ahsoka episode.
You have to understand that the show is called The Mandalorian. It's not.
Yeah,
Baby Yoda
I
and
agree,
Friends.
but like season 1
It's
was
not
like
Grogu and
Baby Yoda
Friends.
mania.
Well,
No, but you have
Well, it was
you have
baby.
to
It was
agree that-
made, but it was mania because everybody's like, "Oh, look how cute he is." That's the only reason. Had it not been that, had it been
one of the
some
hosts
ugly
on this
spider-looking
podcast.
thing, nobody would have cared. Nobody. So they had to do
Yeah.
something cute in order for everybody to be like, "Oh, we can relate to this. He's a cute little baby. Oh wow,
Right.
look at me. I'm holding a baby Yoda."
Well, hang on.
Really
To add on to Mike's point, though, to add on to that, when they made the first season, they had no idea what they were doing with Baby Yoda. They had no idea it would become literally an internet.
That's not
phenomenon.
true.
No,
That's
I
not
think
true.
they know. I think they
Kenny,
know.
you're
And now I
absolutely
think
wrong.
They realized what they had, so they're like, all right, now we have to run with it.
No, you're absolutely wrong, my friend, because if you look at it, before the show was even aired, they already had their millions of Grogu toys advertising it as Baby Yoda. They had them in pre-production, and it was so tight-lipped that nobody knew about it, which is surprising because something big like this that nobody was able to see or hear or anything up until the show started just came out of nowhere. Disney knows what they're doing, okay? They know that they see this little cute thing.
They will
They're
take
going to
over
be like, mass produce everything for Christmas season. Why do you think it came out that late in the season? Because they wanted, number one, they wanted Disney Plus to do numbers. And the only way to do that is to have a really good show.
Of course.
Their actual only show up until, what was it? The
Investors Day announcements with the MCU and Star Wars.
No, but that's a year later, Joe. We're talking about when Disney Plus first started. The only thing that they had was Mandalorian and whatever else the Disney library had.
Live action
Which
Lady
is
and
a
the
lot of
Tramp, man.
things.
Come on.
No, screw that. No way. Come on.
John, go to your room. Go to your
Honestly,
room.
no. Besides the original movies they had, I feel like Mandalorian was like their only actual series that was like their original series that was at launch, right?
Well,
It was
it
really
was. No,
the only
that
like
one in-
original content.
No, they had the other thing with that show with what's his name from Jurassic Park,
Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum.
Oh yeah, and I
Oh,
watched.
Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum.
I
Yeah,
watched
right,
that too.
right.
Yeah,
Those
that was
those
like
were
a
the-
National Geographic show though.
I love
Yeah,
not
Yeah,
watching
no,
that.
but it was
but it's
on
still
Disney
fun.
Plus. It wasn't on Nat Geo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, because I even watched that series too. I thought it was entertaining, but yeah,
Those
but
were
like
the
still,
only
but there
shows.
wasn't like a storied series. Like that was just more like a documentary
Right.
show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, okay, listen. Be realistic. So you had these two shows, right? And what was their third show?
I don't know. What was the third show?
They
don't
paid.
remember.
They paid like $140 million for it.
Everybody loves
All
Raymond.
about history and rapping about it.
Oh,
Hamilton?
Hamilton.
Oh,
yeah,
Hamilton.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
There you go.
I
So that's
attempted
it.
to
And then you
watch
come.
that, and I just couldn't get into it.
Right, but then you have now a whole year later, season 2 of The Mandalorian. And then right before the end of the season of Mandalorian, they come up with the investors meeting and they say what? Here's 10 episodes. Sorry, not 10 episodes. Here's 10 shows for the
10
MCU.
series.
And here's another 10.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's another 10 series for Star Wars.
And now nobody wants
So
to give up the Disney Plus. It's like
There's
all
Star
right,
Wars
it's gonna
mania.
come out
It's the
soon.
70s all over again.
The Mandalorian is the cash cow.
So I think we're getting a little off topic, but
Well,
Only took us
to,
a half hour to get there.
yeah.
to bring it back to episode 2, if there's one strong point to piggyback off that episode, near the end when it looks like it was doomed for Mando and Frog Lady when they got saved by the X-Fighters.
Who
And
was
one
Dave
of them
Filoni? Was Dave Filoni? Yeah.
Yes.
Which I thought was funny. I died.
And the other one was the guy from Kim's Convenience.
Yes. So when
You know what his Twitter handle is?
what?
What?
Angry, bitter Asian dude.
Nice.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
The more you know.
So when Bo-Katan popped up in the 3rd episode,
That a
another
I
great
was,
ad.
I was
Yeah.
I was a little confused.
Top
I'm like,
3 episodes.
shouldn't she be a little bit older? But then I realized I was like, no, because the years, it was technically like almost 10 years between Rebels and
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
I mean,
so
she's
I'm like,
supposed
no,
to be
that makes
older in
no sense.
Mandalorian than she was in Rebels.
It's also
right?
5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so that's why I said
Yeah.
like 10. Yeah, but she was
She was
So she looks
surprising.
like that amount of years older in the live action, like in Mandalorian, than she did. You know, even though she was animated, like she looked 10 years older than her animated self in that show. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
I looked at her character model on Rebels, then I looked at Katie Sackhoff together. I was like, yeah, no, that looks like
It
what
works. Yeah.
They nailed it.
Yeah,
Look
that's-
fantastic.
and
And
that's
she's
when, and that's when they name dropped Ahsoka. I was like, oh, I was like, no, I was like, wait, what? I was like, who?
A lot of connect.
But Christian, how would you not know that Ahsoka was not going to be on the series? I mean, everyone and their mother was saying that she was going to be on in the series, but you just don't know how long she's going to be in the series.
Yeah.
And then right after episode 1 dropped, everybody's like, oh, she's going to be in episode 5.
Yeah.
I
I
was a little-
thought we were going to have. So this is jumping ahead, but I thought they were going to have, like, so other Jedi were going to pop up. I thought, like, the character from Jedi Fallen Order might have popped up because that whole game was about looking for Force-sensitive children. I thought.
Kenny, did you ever play that game?
Hell yeah.
I thought Ezra.
Great game.
I thought Ezra Bridger. Well, when we got the Grand Admiral Thrawn name drop, I was like, oh, so maybe Ezra would pop up. Ezra Bridger
That
might
would be
pop
cool.
up. And then another character who's kind of AWOL in the comics and in the books. I had his name and then he just it escapes me. I'll think about it.
Are you talking about the books that's now considered legends and non-canon now?
No.
Disney?
The current books. I saw random like, oh, Count Dooku. I'm like, Count Dooku's dead. And then another one was Mace Windu, because technically, you know, him being thrown off of the Capitol building doesn't count as
People still think he's alive.
Yeah.
But if
I was about to say, there's
Listen.
a million fan theories out there that still think that Mace Windu's still alive, and I'm like, I don't know. You
Who wouldn't
followed
want?
the first time? I don't know.
Right,
if
but
Bob- if
who
Boba
wouldn't
Fett's still
want
alive,
a
why not Mace
one-handed
Windu?
Mace Windu?
That's when
Listen,
everybody
come on.
thought Snoke was Mace Windu, or Windu was Snoke.
Oh,
That-
God.
that-
You
that
know,
was a-
You know,
That's just
if you really think about it, it's not a bad theory. Mace Windu being
It's
pissed.
not.
Maybe,
pissed,
yeah.
He went to the dark side. Well, listen, you have to think. Look at the visual differences of what happened to Palpatine when he became the Emperor. You know, he grew in age and everything like that. So now picture Sam Jackson, right? All pissed off.
Mhm.
Oh, these damn Jedis, they screwed me or whatever.
These
And then he's like, you
motherfuckers.
know what, screw it.
I was
I'm gonna
about
join the
say, like,
Sith.
these motherfucking Jedi. How dare
Oh,
this little
exactly.
motherfucker. Yeah, all right. I can
So, Kenny, stop spoiling what the 3rd season's going to be like. Because
the
Listen,
character, the
Jerry,
characters,
paint Joe like one of your French girls right now.
Oh, God,
the,
no.
Please,
I hope so. I
No,
hope
do
so.
not open an OnlyFans
Only if
account,
he
please.
invites me
I beg
over.
you.
Guys, the character that I couldn't think of, his name was Quinlan Voss. He was a former Jedi who turned to be Sith with Count Dooku, and then he went off into the galaxy, and nobody really knows if he was alive or not. They made his death very ambiguous in the comics, so that was another character I thought they were going to pop up.
Was he featured on Clone Wars?
I think he was featured. Yeah, I think he was featured in Clone Wars.
No, I gotta watch that later when we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, speaking of Clone Wars, like this season of Mandalorian, like inspired me to start Clone Wars and eventually Rebels, because like I never got into that series.
Yeah.
Like
You'll
now
you'll appreciate Mandalorian more if you watch Clone Wars.
Yeah. There was just too many ties to between the two shows. I was like, I can't ignore Clone Wars any longer. Like I have to get into all 7 seasons of this now.
Dave
You have to
Filoni,
watch Clone Wars. It's canon.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing that they kept canon during the Great Purge of the expanded
Rebels.
universe. Well, Rebels came after.
afterwards.
Rebels came after.
Yeah.
They pretty much said that, like, oh yeah, the only things that are canon now are the movies, the shows, and like a couple of video games.
And a couple of what, Kenny?
A couple of video games, maybe. And they were like, everything else just non-canon. And you got rid of everything.
All those books you spent so many years reading.
Unfortunately, they got rid of Shadows of the Empire, which pisses me
They
off.
got rid of the Old Republic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not yet. Not yet.
No,
remember, how many movies are we getting?
Yeah.
Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni's been doing a great job putting in old expanded universe stuff into the new canon. So I'm sure we're gonna get like some kind of stuff. My 2 wish lists are
Shadow of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire and the Sith Lord who was a former Jedi. His name is Darth Krayt.
Me. That's mine.
His name is Darth Krayt. That's one of my wish lists that I want.
What, you don't want everybody wants a Darth Revan movie and
Well, that too, yeah. But I mean,
that sounds fun. I want that too.
Oh my god.
I forgot he's on. I forgot he's on this call too.
Who is Gerry?
So let's get into. Well, we briefly touched upon Boba Fett, but does everybody like that he cleaned his armor?
Yes.
I was a little.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why.
Christian, you're the only one.
Can I tell you why?
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so here's the reason why I believe that it's a great idea that he painted it, because he got the armor from his father, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. He repainted it and turned it green because, if I'm not mistaken, it was blue first, right?
He also had to pull his hat out. He also had to pull his dad's hat out of it, but.
Right, exactly. So he had to clean it, right?
Yeah.
So he figured, to new beginnings, let me paint it to a color scheme that I like. So he painted it green, right?
Well, now he's Big Daddy Boba Fett now.
Well,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hang on. We're getting out of order here. Hang on.
Yeah, we should talk about the Ahsoka episode first, because that came beforehand.
Oh, do you want to go back to episode 1?
Well, the Boba Fett episode.
Boba Fett made a cameo before that episode, but
true.
he became Boba Fett with the armor the episode after Ahsoka's episode.
Okay, so the Ahsoka episode with the name drop of Grand Admiral Thrawn and the pure Beskar spear, I thought was awesome. And
amazing.
We
so
actually
amazing.
saw a lightsaber. I was really happy that we had a lightsaber battle that was between not 2 lightsabers. It was lightsabers and Beskar,
armor.
which was
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well Beskar. That's the only thing that a
yeah.
lightsaber can't slice through is pure Beskar. And I enjoyed
And I
that.
thought it was really
And of course, I had to point out to Joe. I said, "You know who the girl's assistant was? The main villain's assistant." He goes, "Who?" I'm like, "That's Michael Biehn." He was like, "Oh, I'm like yeah, it's Michael Biehn." I had to look it up at first. I was like, "Why does this guy look so familiar?" And then I realized, oh, it's
so
what's his name from Terminator? Kyle Reese. It's Kyle Reese.
I love that with Ahsoka that they brought the two white or gray lightsabers to life. Kenny, do you want to comment on that? Like to show that she's not exactly Jedi, but she's like shades of gray.
Well, okay.
That doesn't mean anything.
Anyone who's sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
No, so like most of us have pretty much seen Clone Wars and everything. I really do like that. Like, yeah, she does stick to like the Jedi ways and everything, but we do see that like, okay, she is essentially gray, which I think is also. I love that like we're taking it at this point in her story and not something like earlier and stuff. I know it's like supposed to be like after after Return of the Jedi and everything. I'm just happy that like she stayed on that path of like being gray at this point. So
But Gray's not canon though.
Well, okay, so here's about the white lightsabers. So me, I'm gonna get really nerdy and really sweaty right now. The
For it.
the
Go
white
for it. That's what this
lightsabers.
talk is about.
The white lightsabers basically in the new canon, which is awesome. How the Sith get their red lightsabers is they bleed it, so they put all their hate into a kyber crystal.
Yeah.
On the flip side, how you turn a red crystal back into a Jedi kyber crystal is you heal it, but it doesn't take on the property of a red of a green or a blue lightsaber. It's just white. So in canon she stole two of the Inquisitor lightsabers and healed them, and that's why they're white. Getting really sweaty.
You want a fan there, buddy?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks to the Ahsoka episode, we finally got some information or background information on Baby Yoda. We got his name. The fact that he was hidden in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, somehow saved by an unknown Jedi or entity, spare from when Anakin killed all the children during the events of Revenge of the Sith. So
there's a big theory. There's a big theory, Joe, as to who.
But I just have a quick suggestion on that. So, Joe, as you were just conversing your opinion as of this moment, if you look at my background with Baby Yoda, do you actually think he gives a fuck at this point?
Gerry, shut up.
Right,
Christian, go ahead.
So
Christian.
there's a big fan theory online that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that makes total sense. So there's a theory that everyone's like, who saved Baby Yoda from the Jedi Temple? Who saved him? There's a theory that Palpatine took him from the Jedi Temple because who's the headmaster of the Jedi? Yoda.
At that time,
It was Yoda. I mean, what's the biggest FU to the Jedi is to train a Yoda-like apprentice.
Right, but they weren't looking to train a Yoda-like apprentice. They were looking to clone a Yoda-like.
But that's another thing now with the cloning. What are they doing?
Now, it
with
might
the
be
Mandalorians and
you think it's a Yoda clone?
No, I think no, I don't think he's a Yoda clone. I think he's a legit person. I think that he turns out to be what Snoke
Staten
is.
Island.
He's a failed Snoke clone. Or let me rephrase. Snoke is a failed Grogu.
Wait. Hang on.
he reversed.
Really?
Here's the route that they could go. They could go Force Awakens.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean?
Why? What do you
mean?
What are you gonna?
In what sense?
Okay, so The Force Awakens is a video game that came out.
No. You mean the Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
You mean the
Force
Force
Awakens?
Unleashed?
They pretty much took like Vader found this youngling on a random planet who is strong with the Force and essentially wanted to overthrow Palpatine. And unfortunately, the mission failed horribly. But Vader also had this guy cloned like fucking 20 times over.
That's the Force. That's the Force. No, that's the Force Unleashed, not the Force Awakens.
I'm sorry. The Force Unleashed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Force Unleashed video game. I apologize. I'm an idiot. The Force Unleashed video game, and like the guy, like the clones looked exactly like the original guy. So you could, in theory, have a little fucking extra Grogu running around as Darkseid.
The
As
the other
Darkseid
thing,
reference.
the other funny thing is they say that he's the offspring of Yoda and Yaddle.
I mean, it's
Who?
not a far reach. I mean, it's not a far reach. They said that he was trained by many Jedi, and he was at the temple during the time Yoda was there. I mean, there's not enough. I mean, they didn't flat out
Yaddle's
say
not
it
a
yet.
Jedi.
Yo,
Well,
Yo,
never mind.
Yoda was
Never mind her.
I
Just
knew
talking.
that. Like, stop being so like quasi smart.
Why is he on here again?
You know, though,
Who invited this guy?
okay, that's a nice fan theory and everything, but Yoda kind of represents everything about the Jedi at that time, and like practically everything that they stood for. I don't really see him like going around and fucking people, you know?
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing,
Oh.
Kenny.
Oh.
Okay, so to be a
Come to my
Jedi, you
bedroom,
can't have
you
any
will.
you can't have any attachments. Now, nobody said that you can't go fuck around and then you just so happen to get somebody pregnant. You
Like
understand?
Anakin did.
So, right.
No,
No.
I-
See,
I
Anakin
get exactly
Anakin
what you're
wanted to
saying,
be
but
with
it also-
Padme. That's the difference. That's
So
why
you're
he
saying like
couldn't
Yoda
be-
because
no,
you're banging
Master-
somebody
you're
in the
100%
alleyway
right.
of a bar.
Yeah.
But it just like it doesn't seem like something that has ever happened. Not that it's never happened, but like it just doesn't seem that it would like
Yoda
be a
doesn't have
thing in Star Wars.
genitalia. Come
I
on.
don't know.
I mean,
Oh,
let's be
God.
honest here. We're talking about a
We're-
series
we're
that had a
going
brother
really
and
down-
sister kid.
Christian's background.
We're really going down this rabbit hole, aren't we?
That's
Yes, we are.
That's Yoda's
Oh,
face.
I
when
want-
he's
I think let's move on to the
Alright.
subject of the name drop. Baby Yoda's official name,
Grogu.
Grogu.
Grogu. What do we think about that name?
Okay.
I'm okay
I mean,
with
I'm
it.
not. I mean, I'm not like.
You know what?
I'm not big into.
I
Like, oh
don't
my
like
God,
that
names.
He has a name now.
Anything two syllables
no.
or less is quite memorable.
There you go.
Apparently,
to
this
admit,
name was
what-
apparently this name was in the works since season 1.
Mm.
Well, I'm sure they planned it out. They were like, we
Yeah,
have to
of
give
course.
this child a name at some point in time. But yeah, like I felt like it's like okay, all this time it's like oh Grogu. Okay, it wasn't. I don't know. I felt like there should have been something that would have been like oh wow, that's his name. It was like nope, Grogu. But it was really cute
No,
seeing,
yeah.
It has a
seeing
ca-
Grogu react to it, hearing his name though. Every time like the Mandalorian.
Well, listen,
said it,
according
he
to
was
Dave
like,
Filoni and Jon Favreau, they've had that name since literally the first episode of The Mandalorian in season
Yeah.
1.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
they had to have planned it out.
What was I gonna say? So, all right. So let's go on to the big Boba Fett episode, and everybody was like flipping out about.
The tragedy.
Okay.
The
Before we
tragedy.
do that,
Yes.
before we do that, because I feel like I'm literally the only one who is like freaking out about this. At the very end of the Ahsoka episode, she's like, "Oh, yeah, so you need to go to this planet to hopefully find like a Jedi for Grogu." Oh, cool. Okay, what planet should I go to? You need to go to this planet called Tython, and I'm like, like
I know it's a big expanded universe planet, which is yeah.
Kenny, I remember you had this exact reaction when we first spoke after that episode aired, when they did that name drop for that planet to find that old Jedi temple or the
Well,
ruins for it.
The interesting thing about so people seem to think that in the distance, when you got a close up of the Mandalorian and then you see Grogu in the background doing his Zen meditation,
yeah.
people think that they see another person there. And everyone
I
was
didn't see
like,
anybody.
and everyone was like, well, you saw like a silhouette, and everyone was like, oh my God, is that Luke? Is he talking to Luke? Did he contact like Luke or somebody? And then everyone was like, no, and get out of here. But we'll get to that part in a little bit. But the
Mhm.
Boba
I
Fett,
didn't see that part.
but Boba Fett kicking the crap out of everybody was just
Okay.
Yeah,
with
buddy.
a
With a
with
stick.
a with a with a shit. What the hell's the name of the stick?
With a stick, essentially.
Well, it's
There's a
basically
fucking stick.
The Tarkin, the
gonna
Tarkin
call the
Raider
fuck-
weapon.
the Tarkin Raiders
Yeah.
stick. Yeah.
So the way how so you know how I said earlier, I'm like, Boba Fett, who really cares, whatever. Very similar to how like we had the reaction to Vader at the end of Rogue One. This was that reaction all over again. I'm like, oh, okay, biggest bounty hunter in the universe. Who gives a fuck? See this guy light up everyone without his armor. Okay,
Okay.
I'm vested again. I'm
The way
scared.
he smashed
Let's
that
go.
one stormtrooper's fucking helmet, I was like,
Yes,
damn, that guy's
oh
not
my
a face
God,
anymore.
yes.
That
He
guy
went-
does not
So
have a
now
face
you guys
anymore.
know.
He went
Now
John
you
Wick on
guys
him.
know why Han Solo was so scared when he heard.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Now
Boba
we
Fett.
know. Yeah.
Boba
We gotta
Fett.
go.
And I feel like this is
Because
like
he
important
shit his
storytelling.
pants.
Boba
Yeah.
Fett.
Sometimes it's
So-
not enough to just be told, "Hey, be scared of someone." We need to be
You
shown.
need to see why.
Right.
You
to
need
You
see
need the
why.
reason.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
to
usually
piggyback off
that.
They
Kenny,
showed it.
Hold on. That's usually when somebody said Kenny. When somebody say Kenny's here, I go Kenny. Kenny, where? Oh,
so to piggyback off Kenny's point, that badass scene where he kicks the shit out of the stormtroopers with no armor, could we just bring importance to the casting that now that shows how important the prequels are? The fact that they got Morrison to come back to play
yeah.
to tie
Yeah.
the clones to this show. So we're talking about how clones and Clone Wars and Rebels is important, but now they're bringing importance back to the prequels, especially Episode 2
Yep.
Well,
and Attack of the.
They did.
Go ahead.
no, like, unfortunately, and I'm not even like saying everyone in this community. I think the only ones who really would even if they do, even if they don't give a shit about the prequels, is our generation. The then 10-year-olds who were watching it for like the first time and who were like, for some, just being introduced into the prequels. We may be the only ones who gave a shit, because the ones who grew up with the original Star Wars, they fucking laughed right in our faces, and we deserved it.
Now, Kenny, do you think Insane fans also like Star Wars as well?
Oh God.
Why do you have that background, Jerry? Go to your room.
But first
He's a-
off,
he's
the
a-
Backstreet Boys aren't in
yeah.
my fucking room, Kenny.
Anyway.
Anyway,
So they took.
Um,
Oh, the other thing for that episode, I'm sitting there and watching it. Also, when Moff Gideon goes, send in the Death Troopers, I go, the what? To send in the what?
Dark Troopers.
Oh yeah, the Dark
Dark
Troopers.
Troopers.
I was like,
The Dark Troopers. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, the what? He said, send in the what? Because everyone that reads the expanded universe books, those are
Yeah.
like the
that
most
episode, that cliffhanger
like
was
killers
so great.
ever.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
fucking took him.
Oh my God, they did it. They actually did it.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, no. No,
So-
what are they gonna do to him?
so with that episode, we were so hyped coming off of the Ahsoka episode, and one thing that got, for me at least, with so much going on that got lost in the shuffle is that Moff Gideon and his his Empire crew had a spy plant a tracking device on Mando's ship that led them to the planet. Like, maybe some of us got distracted, like, oh, what Jedi's gonna respond to Baby Yoda's call? Yeah, Moff Gideon was the one that answered the call with the tracking device because he knew where they were. Hence,
then
sending the
they-
Dark
yeah.
Troopers.
And then they destroyed the ship.
And yeah,
wow.
and
They
I'm
fucking
sitting here like,
obliterated his
I
ship.
like that shit. The fuck?
Yeah.
Well, it came a little bit of a running gag that his ship kept getting damaged and he constantly needed repairs. And then Moff Gideon is like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna blow it up."
Yeah.
But you
no,
know
And
what?
the only
Now,
thing
like,
that
over
was
the
left-
third season, he gets an even ricketier, older ship.
And-
Ha!
And the only thing that's left is the ball and the Beskar steel. That was it.
Amazing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Brought a tear to
really
my
think
eye.
that the Beskar Steel would never make it. Let's be honest here. They introduced it the previous episode, and then the following episode it just disappears or it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Come on. You knew once he got that spear, by the end of the season, you saw a lightsaber match with that thing.
You
kind
know,
of-
it was definitely going to be part of his arsenal at the very least.
And then
Yeah.
the Bill Burr episode, which I thought was really good too.
Okay.
Oh, his character Mayfield.
I'm gonna say it. I didn't care. I didn't care about Bill Burr whatsoever. I didn't see him playing
Yeah,
a
Bill Burr.
character.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, it's just Bill Burr. That's
It's
it.
Bill Burr being Bill Burr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't
Yeah,
change
he
his,
was-
he didn't act into anything. Like, it was just Bill Burr and
It's
Star
like
Wars.
watching any Will Smith movie.
Although,
Well,
yeah.
he was a
Although
plot
the name
device.
drop, they named dropped Operation Cinder, which was like, I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I was
Mhm.
like, holy crap. Like,
So
they're
correct me if
actually
I'm
going there.
wrong.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm
Wrong.
wrong. That was the plan put in place by the Emperor just in case he died
Yes.
for the Empire to activate. Am I on the
Yeah,
right track?
that was to destroy the planet Naboo by incinerating it with these like solar panel things that like blew fire into it.
But I
Hence
know
the name
Kenny.
Cinder.
I know Kenny could give two shits about Bill Burr's character Mayfield, but ultimately at
Keep
the end of the
talking, Joe. I
day,
care about this.
he was like a plot device he was a step further for Mando to get him off. So
Joe,
I like this
Joe wants
character.
to Joe wants to talk about Cara Dune. That's what he wants to talk about.
Wait. Before you go to Cara Dune, hold on. With Mix Mayfeld, right? That character had depth after the episode where he came back.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, he was like, he was a little over the top and everything like
Yes.
that. But
Yeah, Bill Burr.
then he comes back and he helps Din, right? They go where they gotta go, and then what happens? You actually feel the humanity in him when he's sitting there talking to General whatever his name was, and he was like, "We lost millions of people that day, and how do you feel about that?" Well, we do it for the Empire. And he was like, "Well, you know what? Screw you," and shoots him in the head. Like, let's be real here.
Fuck the Empire.
You felt it in his voice when he was like, "Yeah, but I lost my whole platoon. Like, I felt that." And then what happens? He kills him. Just so he can feel better.
Character development. Who knew?
Exactly. But you know what
Yeah,
though?
I was gonna say, like, his character
But that's
was good.
it's the little things. It's the little things that you know. Look,
He's
let's
right.
be honest. Star Wars is not Shakespeare, okay? You
No.
got a little bit. You got a little bit like you got to think
No.
of it like 10-year-old kids playing with action figures, and it's like, well, what can I do here, and what can I do with this person? Let's put them together and make up a storyline. So that's pretty much what it is. But at the end of the day, though, that was really good character development for Mayfeld. So
Yeah, agreed.
in the beginning, he was an a-hole character that you were just like, if he dies, I don't care. But then you see him in this episode, and you're like, whoa, he's gonna be back next season.
You're not wrong, Mike. You're not
No.
wrong.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
so
now,
Cara
I
Dune,
guess.
Joe, you can.
Okay, I'm not gonna go all weird. She speaking of character development, she definitely grew a lot this season, and Gina Carano is just heavily, but that's besides the point. So
All right, so
Oh, great casting. Yeah.
yeah, great
Still
casting.
awesome.
Yeah, no, she continued to be great.
Yeah. She's a sheriff now.
She's a
Mhm.
ranger of the New
Mar-
Republic. Uh-huh.
She's a
Marshall.
sheriff now because this is still just a
Marshall.
spaghetti western.
And I have to
Yeah.
say, I mean, like, forgive me for even bringing up like this type of topic, but like, she really is like female role model type of, like, that's like, you know,
Yes.
screw Wonder Woman, screw Captain Marvel, like, you know, and I love both of them. But,
Yeah.
like, I think Gina Carano's character is like full on, like, that's what. Yeah, right. What are we doing here, Joe?
Joe,
Camera
God.
angle.
Joe,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what are you doing,
What
Joe?
are we
Don't
doing
start
here,
it,
Joe?
OnlyFans.
No one wants to see your crotch.
Joe, what are you doing, man? Anyway, I was in the middle of something profound, and then we just got like a.
That was like the
Jerry,
Star
did you
Wars
just
start
spaceship
over?
about to crash.
Jerry,
Oh,
did you just
Anyway,
Anyway.
but like basically, like, I think we can all agree, like, Gina Carano like really does it perfectly for what a strong female character in any movie or TV show should be. Like, she can take on any guy. Like, you know, she you know, she's big, but she's not
You're
like,
taking
you
this
know,
shit.
like, oh, yeah,
Mhm.
like, you know, she's all, you know,
She
female
was,
power that can kick anyone's
She was
ass.
Ronda
Like,
Rousey
that's- I
before
think-
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
And I like her way more than Ronda Rousey. That's for sure.
Oh hell
But
yeah.
yeah. So I give her some props for that. You know, like I said, I know
Absolutely.
that's a
The
sensitive
cool-
topic, but
All right, guys.
The cool thing about her character is it was created with just her in mind. Nobody else auditioned for that part. So if she turned it
Yeah.
down, they would have to start from scratch. But
All right, guys. Let's get really, 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 really sweaty right now for the last episode.
Oh no. Okay. All
I
right.
mean, where do you start?
So-
Where do you start? Let's start from the beginning.
Oh,
No,
well,
let's start
well-
from like the actual plan. Let's actually work our way through the episode with this one, because there were like some small moments with everything, like up until like the very beginning where Boba was just like playing bait, and they just like, no, we need to go in, and they're like, no, get the fuck out, you're not allowed in yet. No. They're like, too bad, we're coming in.
yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
Boba,
no, that was good.
I
Great
thought
scene.
Boba was gonna turn on him. That's what I thought.
yeah,
I never even crossed my
No,
mind.
I would have been
Nope.
so pissed. That would have been
Did-
that would have been terrible if he did.
Yeah, that
I
would be bad.
pissed. That would have been so that would have made people pissed off by the end of the episode, no matter what
Yeah.
happened.
Also,
what did you guys think? What did you guys think of Sasha Banks' casting in her role as Bo-Katan's sidekick?
So
So here's
hold
the
on.
deal. I think
She
like
was good, but she was an asshole.
leading.
I
Well,
thought
yeah,
she was an
obviously.
asshole.
But like leading into that though, I feel like Star Wars did in one episode what Marvel has been trying to do with so many movies, and just like it being a groaning moment this entire time. We actually had a very good like girl power like movement for a second, where it was just like
Oh
the
yeah,
four
no, I noticed
girls-
that too.
Yeah,
All four of
It was
them, they
when
had
Boba Fett
their
was-
18.
when Boba Fett was being the bait. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were all like, yeah, they handled that shit really well. I think, yeah, again, they did it better than Marvel there.
So I'll
Me-
so I'll tell you my reaction to Sasha Banks.
Oh, God.
Could it be? It's
no.
boss time!
All right, Michael Cole.
Gag.
Christian, you have to realize
don't-
not everyone's also a wrestling fan too.
I know, but still.
Hey,
And they used her real. They used her real name in the credits. They
I'm so happy that they did that.
Yeah, me too.
Mer-
Yeah.
Mercedes
I just don't know-
Bernardo or something like that.
That's
like
probably because she doesn't own the name Sasha Banks.
Probably.
That's
WWE
true,
probably
but
owns it.
sometimes
property
like
of WWE.
yeah.
So they go in, they separate, and then the Mando barely escapes one Death Trooper.
Yeah, that was actually a
Yeah.
scary
That was-
scene.
I was
like when
and
he was
getting
punching him.
punched, he was getting punched. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's Beskar. It can't. And then like this is how my brain was working. I was like,
His
it's
head was going through
Beskar.
the wall.
Yeah, I'm like, first of all, it's Beskar. Nothing's hurting him, and then I realized, oh no, his head must be doing this inside the mask.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
so
yeah.
that
It's gotta
must be
hurt.
hurting him more. Yeah, yeah.
I was specifically trying to look for cracks in the helmet too, to be like, oh, is this really
It
happening?
was
and I'm like,
yeah,
oh, no,
it
it's
was
not.
like a
It's
total
just the wall
Bane
behind
on
him.
Batman moment
Yeah.
where he's
Oh
like
my
punching
God.
at his cowl and he starts to crack.
And
Yeah, I
no
was
matter what he
expecting the same
did,
thing to
no matter what he did, nothing was affecting him. The fire wasn't hurting him neither.
Yeah, he turned around. He was on fire. He turned around like, "You think I care about that?" And it's like, shit out of him.
Blew
It
all
was a
of his,
Terminator
birds
moment.
and tried to,
No, it
take
was
them
that
out.
was a scary scene. That was a really well done scene.
That was
but,
terrifying.
yeah.
And then he launches
Yeah.
them all out, and I'm like, huh, how anticlimactic.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, okay, of course he takes care. That was the same thing as like in Avengers when the Shatari all had a hive mind, and the moment you killed like the mothership, like they all shut down.
Yeah.
Kind of dynamic. It was like, oh, okay, like
I was like,
one was too hard, so we have to make sure we kill all the rest of them at the same exact time.
But what about
that,
when they
that
come back?
lightsaber, that dark saber versus Beskar Seal battle
Okay.
was awesome.
Let's talk about that fight.
Yeah.
Because I
Amazing.
think it's worth talking about. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and it was pretty good. It wasn't like prequel like fighting and everything, but this was like, I think, better than like any of like the sequel like lightsaber fights and everything.
I mean,
This I thought was
it makes you
all-
think if Moff Gideon was trained by somebody.
Huh.
Yeah.
But no,
I don't think so.
all the fight choreography just shits on the movies, I think, in this show. for the most part.
Giancarlo Esposito, what a great casting as the villain for this show,
Phenomenal.
as Moff Gideon.
He's
He's
my
And we
always a
love
great
him.
villain.
And
he's
we
my-
love him in The
Yeah.
Boys, too.
he's
Yep.
my
Yeah.
pick. He's my pick to play Magneto in an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
That would be
Our
great.
friend Andrew wants him to be Doctor Doom, which I would actually be.
Doctor Doom too.
I would-
Dr.
I
Doom
would
be
like
good
that
too.
casting.
If we
Yeah,
do
I'll give
if we
that.
do a future Marvel episode, we could definitely talk about
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
3 days later,
what I
Joe's gonna
did
be
like what I
Can we
thought
do a
was
Marvel episode?
what I thought was interesting when the Beskar hit the Darksaber, it started to heat up,
It
and
was
I was
getting
like,
hot.
Yeah.
is this thing
Yeah.
going to break?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, a couple hits, this thing will break. Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's metal. It's got to get formed somehow, right?
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely
True.
right. Yeah.
That is true.
So,
Yeah.
And then
That
he
is
beats
very
him.
true.
He beats him in hand-to-hand combat, which means the Darksaber is now the Mandalorians.
Is now Mando's officially.
now
Yeah.
Mando's and Bo-Katan's
Din.
But he
also
doesn't
Yeah.
want it.
Guys, his name is Din.
Din. All right,
D-I-N.
Din.
It's not Mando.
Din.
His
the
name is Brown
Mandalorian.
Eyes.
Right. That's right. We got a name drop for him too this season. That's true.
He's one of the sages
Uh-huh.
from Zelda. That's
No, it was last
So
season.
I'm still calling him Mando. I'm still calling
Yeah,
him
Still
Mando.
calling him Mando.
Mando for life.
So
But
they go
I
to the
will,
bridge.
this might be
Yeah.
this might be an unpopular opinion, but I mean, it would, like you said, this was a very great scene with Moff Gideon, and it was like the fight scene was awesome. But I felt like it was a little also on the anticlimactic side.
Well, I don't know.
No.
A lot
It
of
played out.
unanswered questions at the end.
Listen.
Yes,
okay.
but it was the build up to like how they took Grogu, what he was planning to do with the Jedi blood and like the dark troopers and everything. And I felt like there was going to be some crazy freaking shit happening the moment like
There
he and,
was. It was right after what you just said.
Well, hold on. So,
When the
No,
special
but
guest shows up,
that's a different
you
type,
can't
that's
have
a
too
different type of
much.
crazy shit.
well, hold
No,
on.
no, but
That's
that's
a
too
crazy
much.
shit.
You
So,
always
you
have
put-
too much.
well,
and it's
well,
called
hold on.
Star
No,
Wars.
you can't have no.
Well,
No,
hold
but
on.
when I say crazy shit, you're talking about hype crazy shit. I'm talking about like disturbing. Oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Crazy shit. Like
Well,
I was
well-
expecting something a little bit more than just Moff Gideon alone in a room with
They're
Baby
slow
Yoda and
burning
then
this, John.
negotiating.
John, they're
Yeah.
slow burning this.
Yeah.
They must be. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
Because
How-
all my point was just that he was in a room and he was like, "Yeah, I got Yoda's blood already. Take him, whatever." I'm like, "Oh,
So-
okay, the job was already done. All right."
so
It was all
well,
part of a bigger picture.
well, this is going.
Right.
I get that.
All this stuff is going to lead into one of my theories, but we're going to get to that later. But when they get to the bridge and all the dark troopers come back, you see one lone X-wing. For a moment there, this is my thinking.
knew it
My
from the
thinking-
beginning.
No, my thinking
Here
was
we
like,
go.
my thinking was like, no, nope.
It
not
can't
happening.
be.
For a
that's
moment,
what I
it
thought.
was Ahsoka.
I saw the
I did the
hood.
complete
Then I saw the-
opposite. I
I
was like,
saw
yes.
the hood.
lightsaber.
I
was
saw
like,
the
oh, it's
hood.
not her.
I
It's not
saw
her.
the hood, and I was like, "It's Ahsoka." Then I saw the green lightsaber. I go,
Same.
no. I went,
Yep, same.
no, because Ezra has a green lightsaber. So I went, no.
Not with the black glove, though.
And then I saw the black glove. I was like, no. I still
No,
don't believe it. No.
I saw the glove, and that's when I was like, yes.
Then when he lifted the hood up, I was like, Luke Skywalker. Ah!
Oh my god.
And then
Watching it
So
and then
guys,
at
we
work.
got Luke.
And then I went, okay, who? At first, I thought it was Sebastian Stan. Then I was like, oh no, it's CG. And then when I looked at the credits and I saw Mark Hamill played him, I was like, he must have been so happy. He must have been
Fucking
so
excited
happy.
that it was actually Mark Hamill doing it.
No, because
Actually, guys,
Yeah.
the
I
thing is,
think
I was interested that he played it because I was like, I know how upset he was with the sequels, and I didn't think he was going to come back to play Luke. And then when he came back, I was very happy.
you sure it wasn't his face CGI on a
No, it was-
body double?
No,
No,
That's
it
what I
was.
thought.
It was.
It was.
It was
If
CGI
that's
on
the
the
case,
body
they
double.
would-
That face
put,
was
like,
not.
him in the
That
credits.
face was not naturally moving. That was a criticism. That's a.
There was a stunt
big
double.
criticism I have.
Yeah.
His facial animation was not all there.
yeah, it was not
I-
good. Yeah,
It was his face
It
was
was
like a
better than
JPEG
Leia.
with slightly moving lips. It was
Lot
barely.
better
Like,
than
his
Leia.
lips
I'm
were
with-
It
barely
was
moving
better
when he
than
spoke.
Leia in
And I
Rogue
didn't
One.
to see that, and I don't even want to
No,
know
not
if that
Rogue-
was
yeah,
like
Rogue
if it
One.
was that bad.
Mhm.
But
they'll
yeah,
probably
no,
fix
that
it.
I
They'll
was
probably
like,
fix
they
it
could have
later.
done a little bit more with the facial expressions. Not like don't make him go crazy, but like make his like cheeks move with his mouth or some shit, not just like that's all it was.
Christian,
So my text to
Christian,
Joe
go
was,
ahead.
My text to Joe was, "You're not crying, I'm crying." Who the hell's cutting onions in this house?
No, it was a very powerful scene. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, like
And
this
then Din
is,
takes
I
his
can't even
mask
believe
off.
that they did this.
He's crying. Baby
No,
Yoda's
okay,
touching
can-
his face.
Can,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
"Yeah."
can I talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Mhm.
So this was like the official face like reveal, because you could say that like, yeah, we saw his face in the first one, but that was just the medic droid that removed his helmet, and then the episode prior, that was just like him taking his helmet off just for like a
he
facial
had to.
recognition thing. Like it was never like, hey, I'm revealing my face to you because
And
I
nobody
think
knew
this is
no
who he
choice,
was in the
yeah.
previous episode.
And they
Yeah.
did have a hint of it in like the second or third episode when he's repairing the ship and he goes to take a drink. He like lifts his face off for 2 seconds, and Baby Yoda's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, what's underneath there?" Like
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's
So,
a good payoff.
I'm very happy that we officially have like that quote unquote face reveal that Grogu now knows who his
But
quote unquote father is, essentially.
The
what
unmasked.
happened
Daddy
to the
Yoda.
mustache? What happened to his mustache?
Oh yeah.
He had a bigger mustache 2 episodes prior.
He probably shaved it.
Yeah, you gotta trim a
Oh,
little bit.
come on.
Listen,
Maybe
man,
getting-
we
maybe
don't
getting
question
a little
Henry
sweaty,
Cavill
a little
with his
sweaty and
tattoo,
itchy
He
though,
turned
right?
the dark saber on. He turned the dark saber on and started,
Yeah,
He didn't have the saber at that point.
that's why he didn't want anymore. He's like, I had to do what I did with it, so yeah, you take it.
So we have
You
so
can
many
take it,
unanswered questions. We
Christian.
have so many unanswered questions
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and of course he gave Grogu to Luke Skywalker, who took him away. Very sad scene.
So many-
I was
so many
actually
unanswered
getting emotional for
questions.
that.
So many unanswered
Yeah.
questions. Like, what are they going to do with Moff Gideon? Where's Luke taking him?
Right.
Oh, Moff is getting
hang on a
arrested.
second, Chris. Hang on. Before we
Yeah.
get to that, we're not done yet
Yeah.
because there was an
Yeah, the credits happened,
Oh, yeah.
but then something
Big-
else happened after the
Big
credits.
Daddy Boba.
Mhm.
Another Marvel
Boba.
move.
Godfather Boba. So first of all, when I saw Bib Fortuna, I was so confused. I was like, didn't he die on the thing
Nope.
with Jabba?
He got fat too.
And then
I'm
then I was like, he got fat.
He got
Yeah.
fat like Jabba.
Yeah.
Like
Who-
Jabba.
Who was he? Can someone explain to me who that guy was?
He's the guy in Return of the Jedi that Luke Skywalker
Okay.
was doing the Jedi mind trick to, and Jabba just pushes him, and it's like,
oh,
Jabba, he
Jedi
was
mind.
Jabba's right-hand man.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what he was.
yes. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then he just walks up to, he's like, Boba, you're alive, and he just shoots him.
I thought that was great.
But
I thought it was perfect.
that
It
scene
was.
So now
when he
both
sits in the-
I'm doing the hero thing.
yeah, no, now he's gonna
Boba
be like
Fett's
anti-hero.
done doing the hero thing, and he's more of a gangster badass now.
Yeah.
So we're back
the
to that,
Godfather
that
now.
way of
Who
things.
else?
He's Godfather Boba.
Who else got Loki vibes when he sat in the throne? When he
Yeah.
sat in that chair,
Not so much Loki
like from
vibes,
Thor:
but
The Dark
Conan.
World.
Conan.
Yeah, Conan. I like that.
I like-
one.
I
I'm
like
with
better.
everyone else. I'm getting the Michael Corleone hugging everybody at the end of the first Godfather.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I agree with the Godfather reference that Mike and Kenny
Or not
both
even
said.
that.
So
Like Scarface. He's like sitting in his chair.
And then
the
Just like
book-
the way he
the
was like
book of
just like
Boba Fett.
slumped sitting in his chair. I was like, that's like either Loki or Scarface.
And then
So
and
Christian,
Yeah.
you were telling me earlier that when they announced the 10 Star Wars series, they only announced 9,
Yeah.
and now we know the 10th one.
And everyone was like, hey, maybe it's Boba Fett, maybe they're thinking of something else. And then they announced it as Boba Fett, the Boba Fett series. It was cool. It's great. The Book of Boba Fett.
Was it called Book of Boba?
The Book of Boba, yeah.
The Book of Boba Fett.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, Book of Beer. You should try
But so many unanswered questions we have
Gerry.
as to what are they going to do with Moff Gideon? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? Ahsoka? Where's Luke
The-
taking Baby Yoda?
Thrawn,
Bo-
Thrawn is going to be part of the Ahsoka series. You got to think of it that
Remember,
way.
they're crossing them over.
Yeah.
For an event
Right,
series.
but Thrawn was mentioned in The Mandalorian. Then he'll show up at Ahsoka, and then the next show that they have, he's gonna jump onto that, and then after that, he'll go into the Book of Boba. So everybody's gonna be jumping around.
So here's my theory. Here's my big theory I was pitching to Joe today. That everything's lining up. The way they're lining everything up is making me think that they're going to do what the sequel trilogy would have been if it was made in the 90s. Heir to the Empire, the three Thrawn books from the 90s. Because the way those books, if anybody has read those books, it has to do with cloning, a cloned Jedi who's a fallen Jedi, Thrawn, different remnants of the Empire, and things like that. That I think that's where they're going with.
Okay.
They can amalgamate. They can make their own version of Heir to the Empire, which would line up with everything, with everything that comes afterwards, and then maybe we'll get hints of Snoke, which is whatever, and then
Who cares?
yeah, who cares?
Can we also talk about the unresolved issue of the dark saber, where like Mando basically is trying to hand it to Bo-Katan, and
she just refuses it.
She can't accept it, or she refuses. Yeah.
But wait. There's a little problem there. If you watched Clone Wars, I think it was.
See, the Clone Wars are
somebody
Rebels.
else had given it.
They handed.
Somebody
the
else had given it to
Rebels. It was
to
Rebel.
her,
It was
and
Rebels.
she took it. Okay, so in Rebels, she was given the dark saber, and everything was okay. But now she can't take it from.
Yeah, there's a continuity error there.
Well, maybe
Yeah, I was about
maybe
to
they'll
say,
explain
continuity
it.
errors are going to show up everywhere.
Maybe they'll
That's what
explain it.
happens when you jump around the timeline, making different shows at different times and different points.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen,
I
unfortunately.
just hope.
Yeah, he just gotta like ignore it.
So, like I was telling you guys
Like, okay.
earlier, today, with Bo-Katan, she's like kind of that anti-hero character in a way. But Mike, you don't think she's gonna be the main villain for season 3, but she'll definitely be one of the main villains.
I think she won't be a villain. I think she'll be just someone who. Listen, at the end of the day, Bo-Katan, all she wants is Mandalore to be back on top.
In power.
Okay?
Yeah.
So she's not doing it for personal gain. She's just saying that, you know what, this is my birthright. I'm supposed to be, the head cheese around here in Mandalore. I need the dark saber. Hence why throughout the whole episode she said, Moff Gideon is mine, and I have to take him down. Now you know why she has to take him down. She had to take him down so she could get the dark saber.
But
Here's
Moff
another
Gideon
thing,
knew that
too,
though.
to add on to that,
Moff
to what
Gideon
Mike
knew
said,
that.
though, is that, like, I wouldn't care if Mando would be in charge because, like, once again, we're bringing we're bringing everything back to power. But this guy over here doesn't give a shit. Like he doesn't. He's openly said, "I don't care. I don't want it. Here, take this." And it's like, no.
Oh, okay, Jon Snow.
You beat him. You
it.
have to do it now because you.
So
What?
So
Jon
a lot of
Snow.
unresolved
Jon
issues
Snow,
there.
I don't want it. Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, which I think they did a good job. They wrapped up the season's arc, and they left us asking more questions.
Yep.
So where does everybody think it's gonna go? I said my theory. So where does everybody? What's everybody's theories as to where? Well, we all know it's going to lead up to Grand Admiral Thrawn, but what's in the interquel?
Let Joe go first. I'm sure Joe wants to go first. He wants to give everybody.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Joe, go first.
I'll give my casual Star Wars fan uneducated opinion first.
You uneducated.
I am though. I am. I have yet to watch all
as
the
much as
movies.
Gerry.
I have to watch.
All right,
Yeah,
Joe, please give us your
Wait,
opinion.
what were we
I
talking
don't
about?
know. Jerry knows even less. I know that much. No, well, I mean, as far as like season 3 goes, like it's like in terms of direction, I feel like it's gonna be like a split season between Grogu episodes and Din episodes.
So you think?
And there might be maybe like 1 or 2 that like they kind of cross over.
So
like,
you
like
think
between both, not actually cross over where they meet, but like cross over where their 2 storylines might converge.
So you think we're going to get more Luke?
Oh,
Possibly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like they can't. I mean, well, they can like just do the one-off appearance, but I feel like you can't just take away Grogu after like the cultural phenomenon that he's become. It's like, okay, like he's gone, and now like we're gonna do Mandalorian without him, but like he's part of the appeal to like a lot of fans.
I agree with you, but But you got to also think this is Disney we're talking about. They killed Bambi's mother. Okay, so there's a possibility that you know what we won't see. Like in my opinion.
So they killed the baby instead of the parent, is what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think Grogu will be in that many episodes next season. I think he'll be like in every other episode, or maybe even less than that, maybe in like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah,
towards
no,
the
I mean
end
that's
of the series.
that's what I was kind of saying. Like, I mean, you know, there'll be maybe like a couple episodes devoted to him, or maybe like another episode where it's like, you know, there's, you know, part of it, you know, it focuses on both of their stories that like have to do with each other in some way, even though that they're not actually in the same room together. Christian shaking his head like I'm completely full of shit, and I kind of am, which is okay. I'm just speculating.
I'm shaking my head at Gerry. I'm shaking my head at Gerry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Jerry, where the fuck
Honestly,
are you finding all these backgrounds, man?
I'm just trying to predict the future of where the show's gonna go. And
God
I just think
fucking
it'd be
damn it,
McDonald's
Jerry.
and Wendy's.
Oh, so it's gonna be Darth Vader goes
Jerry.
to White Castle. Is that what it's gonna be?
Gerry, can you agree that at least The Mandalorian is an apology for the sequel trilogy?
I cannot confirm nor deny that effort of yours, Michael.
Jerry did not see a single movie.
Lord, please, this child.
But listen, look. All joking aside, though, I'm not a person that despised or hated the new trilogy. I enjoyed
Neither
it
do
for
I.
what it was, but I was kind of let down on the Rise of Skywalker. But these 2 seasons of The Mandalorian have been so much fun and exciting that it kind of makes up for the shitty.
I feel like the entire Mandalorian
It's what-
series was an apology for the sequel movie.
It's what
Second,
Star
like you
Wars
said.
should be. It
Jon
makes
Favreau
Star
knew.
Wars fun again. Like
Yeah.
instead of everybody bitching and complaining online about the Last Jedi, I mean, it brought the fun back into the franchise, new life into the franchise.
Yeah, it brought a Happy
Look,
Meal
I
back
said
into it.
before, it's such a good show that like it turned me into, you know, more of a fan. Like I was starting to like casually get into it because I didn't get into Star Wars until like a few years ago. To be honest with you, I never took the time to watch the movies, and like, you know, I'd be like, oh, okay, I gotta watch this movie next and stuff, and it just never happened. Now I watch The Mandalorian, I'm like, I gotta watch these movies, I gotta watch the Clone Wars, I gotta watch Rebels, Rogue One. Like now I'm like, you know, I'm getting like
You have
Marvel
to read the
level
books
MC
too.
that comes way later.
What are
But like, but I'm just saying, like, you know, The Mandalorian was really, you know, it hit hard enough that like I'm sure I'm not the only one that, you know, it made stronger or even new Star Wars fans out of just by watching it alone.
Mhm.
So Kenny, do you have a theory or?
Not for like an entire season, but I think the season finale is definitely going to include Mando being thrust into a position of power on
That he doesn't
Mandalore.
want at all.
on
Yeah.
Mandalore.
Listen, lots of things happen within a season, so you don't know what's going to happen.
You really don't.
Get back to me. I'll give you an answer.
Do you guys think there'll be another movie character cameo bomb next season?
Absolutely.
Well, here's a okay. Here's I want to bounce off of John's question real quick. Does anybody think that Hayden Christensen as Anakin's going to pop up as a Force ghost in the Ahsoka series?
Yes.
Yes,
I tweeted.
definitely.
I
Has
think
to.
that'd be
He
phenomenal.
has to.
Yeah. Must.
Yeah,
Since he's
because like
since he's working with them on
Fierce's
the
Padawan.
Obi-Wan series. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised actually if he made regular appearances on that show.
Hmm.
Maybe not every episode. Maybe when she's like in a real rut or something, like, you know, something's about to take her down, and then he just shows up as a ghost saying like, you know, use the Force or some shit or like whatever. Like he's just gonna come to be like that that in her mind.
I think in that
instructor.
sense, he would kind of be like an Avatar Roku kind of situation to Aang in Avatar.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
that. Exactly that.
Thing is, I wish we would have gotten an interaction between Anakin and Luke. That's something I
I
don't think
mean,
we'll ever get. But-
if that's the case,
will.
and we do get Hayden
Yeah,
to
it
do
could.
that, we could get it. We could. It could. It is a
know.
possibility.
I guess the scene in Return of the Jedi doesn't count, Christian.
no,
No.
interacting as a
No,
talking
that doesn't
together.
count.
Doesn't
All
count at
right,
all.
I
The
know, I
the
know.
2 seconds of Anakin talking about the Force in Rise of Skywalker just made me go, we missed a whole bunch of potential cool Anakin Skywalker moments.
Yep.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy.
J.J. Abrams.
Did we? I
I
was
think
so
it's
hoping
more
you wouldn't
JJ than
mention
it is
those names tonight.
Kathleen.
Yeah. Because apparently a scene was shot and then they
Cut
put
it.
it in front of test audiences and then they
Thought
like
better.
cut it out and just I don't know. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Ben Solo being yeeted off of that mountain by Palpatine was the end of him, and we weren't going to get that kiss at the end, and then people were complaining. Oh, so then they added in that kiss last minute.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. You like
Well,
how
at
I use
least-
the word
listen.
yeeted, right?
What can you do?
Kathleen Kennedy screwed up the trilogy. Like the
Okay,
it was-
so The Force Awakens is
Rian
fine.
Johnson did, maybe.
That's a good base to have. Was The Force
Yeah.
Awakens? I have no problem with The Force Awakens, but
Agreed.
The Last Jedi was fine up until you realize Luke wasn't going to come to save Rey.
Mhm.
Up until
Yeah.
that point, I was like, because the character points, I hate to go in like a sequel trilogy, right? But the character things that I saw,
it's
the
fine.
camera shot,
Here we go.
the camera shot that they got of the X-wing underwater. When I saw that shot of the X-wing underwater, I said that's going to play a part in this movie where Luke is going to show, much like in the Mandalorian, when you saw the X-wing pop up. I thought that was going to happen in the Last Jedi,
And it didn't.
and
and it didn't.
happen, and it
And it
didn't
didn't.
happen, and just and then I don't know. You that whole movie could have been that whole part of him being I'm depressed would have paid off if that would have been the ending of The Last Jedi, but it wasn't. So
He did force project himself, so
Yeah,
I wanna
like
see the
that's
green
more of like
lightsaber.
a show of power as opposed to like, listen, very similar to like how we're doing it. Like, even if like there wasn't a virus in the world, and it's just like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna phone in this interview just because I'm lazy and I can from the comfort of my home. It takes effort to put on a suit and go meet with someone and actually conduct an interview, as opposed to just sitting in your boxers on your couch.
Yeah, Christian, we gotta step up our game.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
and then you saw that 2 minutes of Luke destroying everybody in a hallway, which means you don't cross a Skywalker in the hallway.
Yeah, yeah.
Did more to make me happy than the whole sequel trilogy ever did.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
like
no,
you.
that really
that
was
really
like a Darth Vader Rogue One scene. Like,
That
for
was
him.
they have
Yeah,
comparisons on YouTube now.
Yeah,
Old scenes,
yeah.
Like they play like someone made where
They
you
play
can
'em
watch
side to
both
side,
videos
yeah.
side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I gotta
Fargo
watch
and
that. That should be sick.
That sounds pretty cool to watch. So
Hey, Luke had the high ground there.
Uh-huh.
Big sigh.
So yeah, so I mean, I guess that's it. I guess we went over everything. Everybody's really sweaty. Everybody's. except for
I just
Gerry.
can't believe I was right in my prediction that Luke Skywalker was going to appear on
I
the
know
series.
you were right. You were spot on, Joe. I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it. I didn't think he was going to show up.
To quote Kenny, Joe, you were fucking right. I can't believe it. Something to that extent.
I fucking hate you for it,
So-
but I'm so proud of you.
So side note. So I texted
I'll
Jimmy.
put it on my resume.
I texted Jimmy this morning, and I said to him, I says, you better be watching the Mandalorian episode before the next time I come over, or else I'm going to strangle you.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right, I'm turning on watch now. And he's texting me play by play. Oh, I'm up to this scene. I'm up to this scene. So finally he goes, oh, next wing just shot up. And the smile on my face, he has no clue. He's like, oh my God, who's in the X-Wing? And I go, I don't know, Jimmy, who's on the X-Wing? Text me back. No, it can't be. No, it can't be. No. He's texting me like, oh my God, it's Luke.
Those
He's
are
like,
always special moments.
And then,
Yeah.
Those are always special
and then I'm
moments.
texting him like,
Kenny, I suspect
like,
that was
hey.
your same reaction to Sephiroth in Smash Brothers.
yeah.
bro,
Sorry, I don't want. I shouldn't even mention that. This is a Star Wars podcast.
yeah,
right
but next time, John, next time.
now.
But the thing is, like, so now for like 30 minutes to an hour later, he wasn't texting me back, and I thought, oh my God,
You killed
Luke
Jimmy.
Skywalker kill him? So that I'll text you what I said to him. I'll say to you what I said to him. I said, this is the Luke we should have gotten. This is expanded universe Luke everybody keeps talking about. The Grand Master of the New Jedi Order. And that's all I have to say about it. Yeah.
Well, he's the only master.
Well, right now, the Grand Master, and then when he forms the new Jedi Republic, he gets uber strong. Yeah.
Luke Skywalker with the biblical appearance.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, so I guess
You
we
can fly through space like Superman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I mean, if Leia can
Never
do it.
again. Never again.
General Zod, would you like to step outside, please?
Yeah.
So I guess we can wrap this up now, which is great. I had a great time. Did everybody have a great time?
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks
so,
so much for the invite.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's all good.
Yeah. So
I had a lot of fun with JPEG images today. It was great.
Yeah, Jerry's having fun sitting back watching us be all sweaty, laughing.
we had a couple. We're glad to get a couple of newbies on the podcast finally.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah, it was my first time doing a Star Wars podcast. I'm really proud.
We'll definitely have you guys back on
Just wait for next year, Gerry.
We'll have you guys on for other Marvel and Star Wars related stuff. This will be our well, John's been on for
yes.
John's been on. John is our official like Nintendo correspondent. So
Yeah, well,
everything
when
Nintendo.
it comes to that, like, we'll wait until like the remaining DLCs to come out for Smash Bros.
And
Have a
Kenny-
podcast
and
about
Kenny-
that.
Hey, Kenny,
We're
was
not
Kenny
on
could
done
be
yet.
your PlayStation analyst or something like that.
and
So-
then we'll all be on for Star
Don't
Wars
even
and
get me
Marvel.
started on PlayStation right now.
No, don't. So I want to thank everybody for coming on. Jerry, you want to close out since you've been quiet this
Oh
episode?
boy, oh no.
As we've had a lot of shenanigans, a lot of debates that could have turned to conflict. As always, by my background, I am glad to be the neutralizer of any situation by shutting the fuck up. And that means
Oh God.
from this point forward, the Change Within podcast is coming soon to a Zoom near you. So I hope you watch, listen, and maybe listen to Christian on it the next time he's on.
Well, that's a solo Jerry podcast. What's it called, Jerry?
Hype.
That was solid. I was not expecting that.
What's
Yeah,
what's
Yeah,
the,
yeah, that's more hype than the Book of Bubba tease.
what's
Yeah.
the Book of Jerry? What's the name of your podcast,
Yeah.
again, Jerry?
It is called the Change Within podcast, just an inflection about how people come to different accolades and changes throughout their lives. And I can't wait to document people's journeys and stories along the ride. So,
And who's your first
Very-
guest?
Very good podcast to have for 2020. I'm actually looking forward to it.
Who's your first
So
guest, Jerry?
Christian, we talked about the Mandalorian having like 10 spin-offs. Now the Collective Podcast has its first spin-off.
Yeah, woohoo! Woo,
Yeah.
woo.
Alex Albino, good friend of the podcast, will be the first guest for the Change Within.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, so from
Solid.
me and from Jerry and from the collective roundtable here, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Subscribe, like us on YouTube.
Until next time.
Yes,
Like and comment.
like and comment. Tell us what your favorite part was, and listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, all that great places.
And a Merry Christmas you will have if
All
you're
right,
the
John.
Can't.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
Jerry, say your famous line that you say at the end of every podcast.
Oh, there! I thought we were done, but
We're
again,
still recording.
I still love you. Still love you.